disappointed.
A lot of questions, and you know, it may boil down in this rematch to whether Paul Williams accepts that Carlos Quintana may have done just a couple of good things in that fight, and it wasn't all about him. For his sake and for his fans' sake, you hope he made some adjustments for this fight.
Well, he's very loose as he waved to the crowd, acknowledging the fans. So the big question tonight, how will Paul Williams respond in his first fight since his first defeat? The odds makers have their answer, making him a slight favorite, despite the fact he was dominated in the original by Carlos Quintana. Easy-going lefty Carlos Quintana, hearing it from the crowd in his first title defense. His win over Williams surprising given the way he was overpowered by Miguel Cotto and the way Williams beat Margarito. And interesting how he was exposed by Cotto in a brutal loss, yet he exposed Williams. Quintana outboxed and outslugged Williams, Al, but tonight he's got to prove himself all over again.
And he feels that, and I think he is happy about that. You know, it will motivate him to perform here tonight. You know, he thought it was an aberration that he was such a big underdog in the first fight against Williams because the only bad fight he ever had was against Cotto, so he thinks he will prove again tonight. He's just better.
Well, he's clearly the crowd favorite. We'll see if Carlos Quintana, at age 31, has another fight of his life left in him. And let's size him up as we check the tail of the tape. Williams turns 27 next month, but the focus on his height and reach. He's 4.5 inches taller with a whopping 9-inch reach advantage, and both trim and ready. Judging by their weights from yesterday, you'll recall Williams struggled with his weight before the first fight. And the notable unified rules for this world title fight: there's no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. And if a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. So here at Mohegan Sun, a rare immediate rematch, Quintana Williams 2 for the WBO welterweight title. The formal introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to Mohegan Sun Casino Resort here in Uncasville, Connecticut, as we have a big night of action coming your way, brought to you by Gary Shaw Productions and Showtime. Well, the first world title attraction is made possible by DeBella Entertainment and Houston Tudor Promotions, and is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization, President Francisco Valcarcel, Supervisor Luis Perez, along with the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside. From Avon, Connecticut, Glenn Feldman. From Suffield, Connecticut, Don Trella. And from Rivervale, New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. Introducing to you our 3rd man of the ring, a referee in charge, hailing from Brooklyn, New York, Ed Claudio. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing in a rematch for the WBO welterweight championship of the world. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with gold trim, hailing from Aiken, South Carolina. He weighed in at a trim and ready 145 3/4 pounds with a fine record of 33 wins and 1 defeat. He has 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Currently ranked the #1 contender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO welterweight champion of the world, introducing Paul the Punisher Williams. his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trunks with silver trim, hailing from Moca, Puerto Rico. He weighed in at a ready 146 pounds. His fine record stands at 25 wins, 1 loss, 19 wins coming by way of. Tonight, he is making the first defense of his title. Here is the defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, introducing Carlos El Indio Quintana. Once again, a referee in charge, Ed Claudio, now to give instructions. 12 championship rounds of boxing scheduled.
Carlos, Paul. Okay, Paul, Carlos, you receive your instructions in the dressing room. We're going 12 rounds or less for the WBO welterweight championship of the world. I believe it's a little high, Paul. Let's bring it down some. Anything from here on down is going to consider low, okay? All right? Okay, all I ask for is a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself, Elosa. Ya tú sabes, Carlos. Una pelea limpia, protege todo el tiempo y escúchame con lo que te diga del cuadrilátero. Touch him up, let's get popping.
The height differential immediately noticeable. Didn't bother Quintana the first time. The skillful champion has to be confident. He outclassed Williams early in the first go-round. Williams said he'll be more aggressive at the outset here in this sequel of southpaws. He certainly should be highly motivated. Here we go. 2 left-handers. Paul Williams in the black trunks, a boxing anomaly in that he's a tall, lanky fighter who's usually puts pressure on his opponent. But in the first fight, he was befuddled by Quintana's constant movement and angles. Quintana in the blue trunks with the white trim. Typically, Williams throws over 100 to 125 punches a round, but what does it mean if they don't land? So the onus is on Williams to adjust, and has he learned from his mistakes?
And he landed a right hook right off the bat. That's the punch they landed more often against Quintana, not so much his straight left, which you would anticipate.
Nice right hand got in by Quintana. You'd think Quintana shouldn't have to change much of anything, but his people said there will be a few surprises. What do you suppose they meant?
Yeah, that's a good question. It might be more pressure from Carlos Quintana as this fight wears on, but certainly early on he'll want to do what he did before, and that is counterpunch and land those kind of left hands, which he did throughout the first fight despite the height advantage for Williams.
The straight left and the right hook by Quintana was tremendous in the first fight. There was a good right hand by Williams. Williams clearly has to bring more passion, more energy, more pressure. Got to attack the body. Keep Quintana at the end of that long jab. Take Quintana out of his comfort zone. Williams landed.
Oh, let him go, let him go.
Williams jumping all over Quintana. Quintana almost went down. Quintana in trouble early. He's on the canvas.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Camíname a mí. ¿Estás bien? ¿Te sientes bien?
Over a minute left to go in this round. There's plenty of time for Paul Williams.
Quintana down for just the second time in his career. He went down to the first round against Joel Julio, came back to win by decision. How will he fare here? What a reversal of fortune. Another left lands. Quintana's in trouble. Claudio steps in. The fight is over. What a bounce back by Paul Williams, who recaptures the title in emphatic fashion.
I think that nobody expected this quick an ending. And it put Paul Williams back on the map in a major way.
He said he wanted to bring more passion and energy. I think he did. A dazed and disoriented Carlos Quintana.
Very disappointing for him. He thought he could show that that first win was not an aberration.
What's up, Toto?
about retribution.
We'll see how it happened. Very close first round until that straight left hand stunned Quintana. That changed this fight inexorably, and Quintana was trying to kind of stay out of harm's way. Then the right hook there and a straight left created more damage. And now Carlos Quintana in major trouble, getting ready to go down for the first time. And as we take a look at how this first knockdown was created, Quintana tried to stay close to Williams so he wouldn't be hit with these shots. But Paul Williams is a good inside fighter, even though he's a big, tall guy. And you see him making the most of his opportunities while Quintana was inside, and then finally was able to get another one of those straight left hands in. And with about 1 minute left in the round at that point, Carlos Quintana was in major trouble. Then the second knockdown. Williams again landing hooks, straight left hands, setting things up with the jab. And even though he's throwing a lot of punches, he's making the most of those punches. And once he got against that corner, Carlos was in major trouble. And at this point, referee Claudio stopping the match when he went down the second time. Very important nuance. Williams setting up that left hand with the jab. Even though he had Quintana in trouble, he didn't forget about his boxing basics, and that's very important. You know, Paul Williams hasn't had this kind of big knockout victory against top welterweights. That's why, for a guy that's called the Punisher, who knocked out a lot of people earlier in his career, this is an important win.
Paul Williams, who reported to the arena at 156 pounds, gets his revenge. Let's go up into the ring. And the official word from Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 15 seconds in round number one. A referee in charge, Ed Claudio, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, and he is once again the WBO welterweight champion of the world, Paul the Punisher Williams.
What a feeling of satisfaction for this young man. Paul Williams climbing back onto the throne once again, the WBO welterweight champion, lifting his record to 34-1.
Paul Williams and George Peterson, his manager, said it was all about what he didn't do in the last fight. They said when we land punches like the straight left that he's landing here and put our punches together, Carlos Quintana will go down, and they were right because Paul Williams got it done.
Well, they both went down, but Quintana went first. Let's go up to Jim Gray.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Paul, congratulations. I know how much this has bothered you since the last fight. What was the major difference tonight? Was it in your training? Was it in the fact that you were 5 pounds lighter tonight? What exactly was it?
You know, we had a good training camp, you know what I'm saying? We had a good spot with Louis Collazo, Curtis Smith. Then we got with Darren Robertson, my script trainer, you know what I'm saying? Put in a lot of work. 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. We in there working out script training and stuff, you know. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't take nothing for Quintana. He caught me on an off night, you know what I'm saying? That's what guys do. You catch you on an off night. You supposed to get this guy out of there. But this time, you know, hey, everything was good, clicking on point. So we came in there and I saw what time, hey, the power was there. You know, hey, I want to, hey, whoever we want. It don't matter.
How did you feel as though you would respond after your first defeat?
Oh, man, you can't accept winning if you can't accept losing. So that defeat, that's when they say I lost. Okay, all right, let's go have some fun now. You know what I mean? That's how I take it because, you know what I'm saying, it's business. But after that loss, you know what I'm saying, we got back to the gym, me and Mr. Peterson. You know what I'm saying? He gave me my time off. Then we looked at the films, what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to let this guy come to us this time and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, got back in the thing, got this back. You know what I'm saying? I told everybody, you know what I'm saying, my pants are falling, I had to get my belt back.
You got it back now. What would you like to do with it now that you have it back? What next?
Well, I think about want to go, you know what I'm saying? I want to get some fights with Cotto, Margarita, or De La Hoya since Mayweather retired. You know, hey, I want to, hey, if the fans pay their money to see some action or something good. And I think, hey, I'm right here.
All right, well, congratulations, Paul. Certainly was quick work tonight. Thank you for talking to us.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Champion once again. Back to you, Steve.